Well, in times of trouble, we should turn to the youth. The youth intake preview back in January promised much, but is it going to deliver? And is it going to be enough to give us hope for future seasons? Let's find out. So here we are, it's Youth Intake Day, it's at the end of April, and I've been waiting for this. I need something to just give us a bit of hope in this poor second half of the season, and this is not it. This is not exactly what I think we were promised in that preview. As far as I can see here, there's one decent player, one player that's a keeper, and not a goalkeeper, I mean one to keep, and the rest are, So Camille Legger, this is the one we've apparently got every reason to be excited about, one of the most gifted players to come through in generations, and, he looks alright. There's a 3.5 star potential, we've got the Black Stars potentially taken up to 4.5 as well. Attacking midfielder, can play as an advanced playmaker, that is a role that we can use. Decent technique to start off with. Determination's okay. He's got a little bit of a flair, a bit of a team player. On the physical side, acceleration and pace, definitely something we're lacking at present. Got the first touch, but dribbling, not so great. Passing, not so great. If you're going to be a midfielder and you're going to be a chance-creating, attacking midfielder, that's somewhere where we definitely need to work. The personality is balanced, so we'll be looking to, get him mentored with someone who can perhaps up his determination a bit, but he's okay. He's okay. I would have no qualms about signing him to a contract. But as for the rest of them, we've got here a defender who's 2-3 star potential ability, and, that's it. From there on, and we're talking, not really that good. If we have a look at Gonçalo Sabino as he is, so he can play as a left back or centre back, no nonsense in both cases. But if we just look at some of the key statistics, tackling is only starting on an 8. If he's going to play as a fullback, the crossing's poor. I guess that's why he's a no nonsense fullback. Lot of work to be done there. I don't think he could ever become anything more than a fringe player for us. This just sums it up for me, really. Titouan Bertin. Great name, but if we just look at this, look at his stats, he's a pretty poor player. The only kind of standout stat he's got is aggression. Teamwork and work rate are good as well, I suppose. And look at that, determination of 1, personality, easily discouraged. So I think we're going to easily discourage him from ever playing for us. Alright, so we've skipped ahead a couple of weeks now to our final game of the season. We are playing the wonderfully named Prat, rooted to the bottom, already relegated. It's all academic from this point. Prat can't lift themselves off the bottom. They are the wooden spoon team. We are currently in 8th. We did manage to arrest our slide somewhat. I'll show you the results and talk you through those matches in a moment. As things stand, we're 8th. We could adjust our place a little bit. With a win and results going in our favour, we could jump up a place to 7th. If, we slip up yet again, we could drop down to 9th. The good news is it means that we have met the board's target of the top half finish. I would feel very hard done by if they criticised me for 9th. You see, we're on a B-. They're overall pleased with our management of the team, pleased with some of the recent results and the atmosphere within the squad. Disappointed also with a couple of the recent results. Also some question marks over Zisku Martinez, but he's dropped for today anyway. So just to talk you through some of those results since the Llagostera match, which I'm still having nightmares about. We then, the following week, we took on Espanyol B, who, are not having the best of seasons. So 2 teams out of form, coming head to head. 1-1. We were lucky to get away with that. We went behind. We responded with an early goal in the first half. And, that was the game. There were literally no highlights after the equalising goal. We then had a tough run of 3 games, 3 teams who were all above us in the table at the time we played them. So Tarragona first, who were chasing a playoff spot in, the second division B, something we were doing earlier in the season. And we managed to crank out a win. I kind of went back to strip the tactics back a bit, went something a bit more basic, something that was kind of working at the start of the season. I sometimes find when tactics go wrong, like when I've got a tactic that's kind of doing the job, like I had the 4-2-3-1 earlier in the season, it was working out okay, and then I started to tweak with it. We kept our run of results going, and then kind of over tweaked, and the results started to slip. So I did keep like the early iteration of that tactic saved as a separate file, loaded it back in, and then we started to, tweak with it a little bit more from there. And, it worked. We got a 2-0 win. I mean, we were not the better team by far. On another day, we could have easily lost that match. But, we've got to be pleased with that result. We then travelled to Sabadell. This was a 1-1 draw, a hard-fought 1-1 draw. You'll see there that both goals came early in the second half. So we did well to respond to going behind there. Pinga again with the goal. And finally, in the most recent game, we travelled to Alicante, also chasing the playoff spot. They were second in the league at the time we played them, and we cranked out a 2-1 win. Again, I'd say if we have a look at the match stats, I mean, it was pretty even, though they had many more chances to score, particularly early on. They dominated the opening period of the match, but we kept our nerve. Pinga again with a goal, then Perez, the young Andorran, with yet another goal cutting in from the inside. He's finally kind of got the hang of that. They did pull back 1 goal with 20 minutes to play, which made for a tense closing section to the game, but we held on for another win. So we're kind of on a mini run at the moment. And now we're probably just going to look like Prats. But before we get onto the game, a little bit of news on the national team front. Obviously, this is the time of year when there aren't many matches going on. All the big nations are preparing for Euro 2020, and little Andorra are left at home twiddling their thumbs. We have, as a homage to Bobby G, we've arranged a friendly against Hong Kong for the summer. But that's not the big news. The big news is the groups have been drawn for the next iteration of the Nations League. We are, of course, in Division D, and we got drawn in a 4-team group, which, I was happy with a 4-team group. It means more competitive games. We're in there with Faroe Islands, Latvia, and Gibraltar. So Gibraltar, they're quite lowly ranked, 200th in the world as we speak. Latvia, 144th, which is similar to us. We're 141st in the world at the moment, I believe. Faroe Islands have soared up a bit, though, 115th. So, actually, in the other group, you had San Marino, Liechtenstein, and Malta. So, if we could have had a couple of them in here, that would have been great. But it is what it is. We'll take it. We'll look forward to some competitive action come the new season. But for now, let's play our final match against Prat, see if we can finish on a high and send Prat out with a splat. And then after the match, I'll just quickly talk you through some of the changes we've got coming in next season, a couple of transfers that have already been arranged for the 1st of July, and a couple of players who are likely to be on the way out. Anyway, what we're going for here, bit of a gegenpress tactic. We're going with a balanced formation. I can drop the defensive line lower, just keeping that standard. Just following some of the advice I found on Bust the Nets channel. One thing I was thinking, which I should have spotted before, was I kept playing these tactics with a higher defensive line just because, I have always play a higher defensive line without thinking about the fact that Migu is 39 years old. He is very slow, and he's now 40 years old, and high defensive line, long balls coming over the top, he just wasn't getting back. He was just not picking up the attackers, and they were having too much choice. So we dropped that defensive line a little bit deeper, and that seems to be doing the trick. And we've got the inside forwards working a little bit better now. So they're supporting Pinga a bit more. They're creating chances for him, and he's started to score the goals. So let's see if after I've bigged up my tactic, if it's actually going to work today. Now, Prat 4-4-1-1. They keep lining up against us, the AI teams. They keep lining up with that same formation. So they obviously think they're onto something. Let's keep the run going. Not a big reaction there. All right, in that case, we will go with the We've Got Faith. And we are off. Final game of the season. Time to put this season behind us and try and build something a bit better for next season. And an absolutely thrilling first half with 0 highlights, 0 goals, according to the stats, which I've just been staring at this whole time. We've had more shots, we've had more possession. We just haven't seen any of it. By the way, this will affect the table. If we have a look here, Sabadell are the team just below us, are beating Lanusia, who, if memory serves correctly, are the team just above us. Okay, not happy with your performances, what we've gone with. We want to see more action. We're getting a highlight right at the start of the half. It's knocked out to Hernandez, the left back, who's made a marauding run. Pinga, wow. What is that? 14 seconds into the half, and we score a goal, and a well-worked one at that. Look at that. Migu just knocked it out wide. Hernandez made the run. Migu well spotted. Lovely control there, chesting it down. He draws 2 men to him, gets the cross in. Pinga beats everyone to the near post, and that is the kind of thing we just haven't been seeing for so long in the second half of this season. I'm going to praise the boys for that. And that's one thing I've been doing in this little bit of an unbeaten run. Anytime we're kind of not losing, we've scored a goal, I put out the praise, and, well, it didn't do anything really there, but I think in other matches it has been having a positive effect. Right, Perez is not having the best of games today, so I'm going to take him off and bring on Zisku Martinez, give him a chance to redeem himself at the end of the season. We've also got Villanova, who's just come back from a hamstring injury, so he can come on for Magoo, who's starting to flag a bit. Right, final 15 minutes of the season, and it's a throw-in for us. Hernandez brings the ball back into play, and he plays one forward now for Pinga. Pinga plays it back. It gets pinged him out a bit. Now it looks though like Prat are going to come forward here. Hopefully no one in our defence is going to beat a Prat and let them score. Tina, wow. I don't know what he was doing there, a bit of acrobatics after he'd seemingly caught the ball. But the highlight continues. A long one launch to Pinga. Moha knocks it wide to Hernandez. Hernandez making the run again. It's Akale now and Martinez, the super sub, but it's been disallowed. Okay, never mind. It was a nice movement, though. Nice bit of movement. Yeah, I think we're going to see here when, he just stepped forward after the rebound, and then, he didn't move back before Akale made his cross. Anyway, Hernandez now with the throw-in again. Moha's picked it up. He pings one over to Martinez. Martinez gets to the byline, crosses it. No one there, though. Eduardo, who's been a disappointing signing this season. I had high hopes for him when we brought him in, but he holds the ball up. It's kind of the same logic as running it to the corner flag. But Pinga's through. Pinga shoots straight at the keeper. And the highlights are coming thick and fast now as we approach the final 10 minutes. Second goal now would just put the game to bed, put the result beyond doubt. Eduardo now with it in the centre of the park. Plays in Martinez. Martinez to Blasquez, who's made the overlapping run. And it was Rai. Rai nearly scored. A bit of a scramble there to follow up. Oh, that was so close. But we've still got a chance. Nope, it's ended there. All right, I'm still going to praise the team. We're doing well. We just got to keep that focus in the final few minutes, though. Here we go. Right to Eduardo. Eduardo knocks it over the top. It comes to Moha. Akale plays it through to Pinga. Pinga scores again. Pinga is on loan this season. It was an arranged signing before I took over. I was actually thinking, let's just get rid of him at the end of the season, bring our own guy in next year. But he's been playing really well in these last few games. He's not a great natural finisher, but, we might consider asking him to stick around. Okay, taking off Eduardo as he was on a yellow, bringing on Marino, kill a bit of time. Moreno, sorry, not Mourinho. Anyway, looks like a last gasp chance for Prat before they sink into the third division. And I think that's going to be that. Let's blow the whistle, referee. There we go. I finally won an away game. I think that's our first away win since December. And it's the first win I've had on the channel for a while as well. So we'll go into the dressing room. We'll tell the boys. Nice positive way to wrap up the season. Good win for us. And let's move on to the kind of wrap up because we are not, unfortunately, going to be in those playoffs. So we did end up finishing 7th because Sabadell were able to hold on to that win against Lanússia. So 7th, that's all right. 5 points off the playoffs in the end. Obviously, we should have made the playoffs based on the first half of the season we had. Okay, so just bringing you to the first team squad. One thing I want to show you. We have many players who are on a 1-year contract, which are on the verge of expiring. So Migu, 40 years old, hasn't given any sign that he wants to retire, but if he's going to play on, don't think it's going to be with us. Marino, this is someone, 36 years old also. I mean, I was interested in keeping him on, but he didn't want to take a wage cut, but the board wanted him to take a wage cut. Palancha, he is off. I think we just got better options on the wings. Martos, another one, 36 years old. I mean, he's a good utility player. He's been useful for mentoring with his high determination and leadership, but he's won 3,600 a week. I think we need to get him off the wage bill. Casa de Sus, 35 years old, 4,300 a week. We definitely want him off the wage bill. Mikhail Gafour, he's already on his way to join Apollon Limassol. Rai, I wanted to keep, but again, he was asking for way too much money, more than the board would sanction. Gilmar, I definitely want rid of. I mean, you saw what he did against Barcelona B. You saw in a recap of previous matches one of his own goals. We did have another game. I think it was the game against Alicante when we were under pressure trying to hold on to the win, and the ball came over and he just whacked it straight into Migu. And then one of their strikers ran through. Luckily, John Tina was equal to it. And we do have a couple of transfers organised. 4 strikers, funnily enough. Diego Lorenzo is the first one we're going to look at. So he's just turned 18. He's at Atletico Madrid currently. One for the future, more than one for now. But, I mean, if we compare him to Pinga, Pinga might be more well-rounded, but this guy's got better finishing, better acceleration, better pace, and that kind of thing at this level is going to be important. And also coming in, we've got a 22-year-old striker joining us from Villarreal, Simon. Yeah, he's a poacher, a bit of a selfish player, but look at that. 19 determination, driven personality. I mean, he's not much of a team player, can be a bit selfish, I'm told, but he's a poacher. So, we can go with that. 14 finishing, 14 first touch, 14 heading. He's got acceleration, he's got pace. This is someone who I think we can get goals from. So on the whole, we met the board's targets for this season, top half finish. We made that. We didn't quite do what they wanted in the cup as we were knocked out in the first round, but it was a tough draw, so they'll let us get away with that. Couple of signings in the January transfer window meant we met the target of signing the players at age 23 and under, which is still present in the negotiations for next season, which you can see here. They also want us to only offer 1-year contracts to any players aged 32 or over, which is new, but this is what we were doing anyway. Stay within the wage budget, which is important because we are now approaching £2 million in the red. We're currently £16,000 under the wage budget, if I just bring that up to show you. So, I don't know what else we can do. I guess we can do some money spinning pre-season friendlies and tournaments. Apart from that, I'm doing my part of the bargain. It's up to the board to make sure that the finances are in place, I suppose. We've also got to make the playoffs next season, and my contract is up at the end of next season, so we've really got to make it. But overall, for this year, it's a B-. There were positives, there were negatives. Overall, a pretty average first season. We had a slump. We made our way out of it. We kind of finished with a decent record in the final 5 games. Hopefully we can carry that over to the start of next season. Hopefully I can carry you over to the start of next season as well. Dear viewers, please make sure you hit that like button. Let's go for a season-ending target of 20 likes. Let's see if we can get 20 likes to keep things going, and then I'll try and crank up the episode output for season 2. It'll give me that bit of motivation. So yes, please do hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'm Dodgy Gamer, and I'll see you again soon.